All right, welcome to the show. I hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas. Thanks so much for being with us. I guess the biggest news that broke over the holiday was everything that's going on in Minnesota with the Somali community and essentially getting a ton of taxpayer dollars. We're going to talk about that and much, much more, and we'll make sure validate that our stream is going live. I know we're live in some places. Hang on, let me check it out real quick. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to continue the show, and we'll get it up on Ex American News because I know we're live on television and we're live on Facebook. So, okay. Anyway, the show starts right now.
The Paul Harrell Program.
All right, folks, so while I get the stream going, I'm going to toss to Rob. Rob, did you have a Merry Christmas?
I did. It was great. You know, I can't wait to get the credit card bill in and pay that bill. So I say that sarcastically. So for our television audience and any of the streaming platforms, we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, we're on all these places. Apologize here. We are on. Also, we stream daily to Ex America News, and it's not streaming there. So that's what Paul is going to be working on right now. But look, folks, what are we talking about here? We are talking about the most enormous fraud that probably any of us in our lifetimes are going to see from a dollar standpoint. We're going to see some of the biggest fraud from government that we've ever seen. And where is this going to lead to? The black pill in me would say nowhere. We're not going to get perp walks. We're not going to get Tim Walz should 100% resign. Like if you are over a state that has just completely run amok with fraud and these daycare centers, that is nothing compared to what we're going to see. I've seen reports there that there are fake healthcare centers that are treating patients. So are we going to see Medicaid fraud?
Oh yeah, 100%.
We're going to see Medicaid, Medicare, all of this fraud. And my guess is, Paul, and I'm going to say it's a pretty strong, good, educated guess here, is because we don't know who is in this country. The states, the government knows that we don't know. Mm-hmm. So when the Somalians, in this case in Minnesota, says, hey, we've got 96 children, and here are their names. Nobody can check that. The government, the state of Arkansas, Paul, knows that you have one child and I have three. The state of Arkansas, which means that the United States government knows how many children that we have. What we're seeing is fraud in fictional people that do not exist. Fictional businesses serving fictional people. That's what's happening, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're exactly right. And, you asked, is there going to be Medicaid fraud? Oh, absolutely. Because, I mean, we're talking about, third world, migrants that are conspiring with the Democrats to essentially, because there's also a whole tithing process that goes on where these daycares, fake daycares or whatever, they're tithing back to Democratic campaigns like Ilhan Omar's and everything else. And I'll just say, with my knowledge of what went on here in the state of Arkansas with Medicaid fraud, when the Obama money came in and everything else, and politicians and healthcare companies getting wrapped up and sent to prison, that was going on here without any of this, illegal immigrant element to it, although there might have been. Sure. I don't know. In hindsight, maybe we should look into that. But they're already saying this is going to affect Ohio, that Columbus has another Somali population, of the second largest Somali population.
Sure, I didn't know that. States. I didn't know that till yesterday. I'm sure that a lot of folks didn't know that. If you were to sit here and say, what are the hubs of the Somalian population?
Invasion.
Right, invasion. That's a better. When they're saying that the fraud exceeds the GDP of the entire country of Somalia, like, yeah, I would say that the people coming here committing fraud, sending money back, sending money to Democratic politicians, because let's be honest, folks, ain't nobody that's got a Republican after their name or that R after their name getting money from this Somalian fraud.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be Democrats, including Tim Walz, and if he's at least not, his knuckleheadedness, if it's not at least pressured where he gets a strong 60 minutes interview where, like, listen, does the buck not stop with you? You were just a few votes away from being the vice president of the United States. Mm-hmm. Like, and we all know that these investigations wouldn't be happening if he was the vice president of the United States. But Nick Shirley, his video,
it's his reporting.
The last video that count that I saw was something like 120 million views. We are the media now, Paul. Shows like this. I would love to have 120 million views on one of our videos. We'd love for that to go that viral. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is that the fraud exists, but dudes in Arkansas and Tennessee and Oklahoma and North Dakota, do they know where these hubs of fraud are? Going back to my original point, I wouldn't have known that it is in Minneapolis there. With Ilhan Omar or whatever, but I sure as heck wouldn't have known that Columbus, Ohio was the second largest.
Was number 2. I think what this also shows is all of the Democrat policies, and Republicans support these policies too, or they would never, become law in the first place. They pick off a few. All of these heartstring policies, right? All of these programs, the daycare, or the welfare.
How do you vote against
How
daycare?
can you vote against that stuff? What is becoming apparent? It's for sure in Minnesota. Is all of it is just designed to enrich politicians, and in this case, to enrich an invasion army, like an invading immigrant army that's meant to demographically change the United States. And in order for that to happen, they have to be supported by the taxpayer, but not just supported, with welfare programs.
Sure,
becoming wealthy. All these reports of the Somalis, driving these, Mercedes cars. There was that. There's been some great memes about this. Coming to America, Eddie Murphy. Decked out in his Wakanda or whatever the thing is. Like, you own a daycare and you have 0 clients. And it's Eddie Murphy from
there you go.
Whatever. I can't remember. But it is an industrial scale fraud, and again, I didn't even know who Nick Shirley was until I saw his video. But apparently, he's a successful YouTuber. He's done different series on
I would say
topics.
That most of the internet world here in the United States knows who he is now.
$18 billion gone. $18 billion gone. Minnesota social programs looted at industrial scale. And of course, I've got this retweet here of Musk pulled up because I wanted to start with this because he uncovered a lot of this stuff with Doge.
Yeah.
When we were hearing him talk about what he was saying, and then this year we never really got any follow up. We got USAID did get gutted. That was a good thing.
Yeah.
Because that's the same. That's in the same ballpark of what's going on here, right?
I think that was just like the most obvious fraud, Paul.
Yeah.
If you're asking me, I feel as if there are more. I think there's exponentially more fraud at this level than there was at the USAID, which is scary.
Yeah, that is scary. That is scary.
As we stroke our checks for taxes,
and that's the thing. Like, this is about the hatred of the American people, if anything. Like, this is about favoring immigrants or illegal immigrants or whatever. It's a totally different mindset. It's literally, and that's why Mike Waltz is out today saying that Nick Shirley is a white supremacist. Did you hear that?
Oh, Tim Waltz is out?
Sorry, yeah. Tim Waltz is now saying that this whole expose is motivated from white supremacy.
There are 18 daycare centers in one building, Paul. When have you ever seen that?
Never. I mean, that's why these videos are so. I've got a few of them pulled up. Let's actually go through it.
And there are no kids.
Yeah, this is incredible.
As we continue to show the blatant fraud that was taking place here in Minnesota, Somalis started following us around the city.
And now we're being followed by the Somalis. This is another daycare center, absolutely no signage, and there's no footprints in the snow of children playing outside. $5 million within the past
5.9 million in 2 years. 5.9 million they received in 2 years. That facility right there.
And now we have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now.
From this daycare center,
You
we head
go.
over to
You
the
go
infamous
away. You
Quality
go away. You don't
Learning
ask
Center,
questions about
which
our
actually
misspelled
spells
sign.
Quality Learning Center.
You saw this, right?
Yeah.
They can't even spell correctly.
The misspelled sign is just, this. You go away. You go away. You're racist. No. I'm a taxpayer, and you are committing fraud. Okay? You can call me whatever the hell you want to call me. I'm a taxpayer. You are committing fraud. You are stealing taxpayer dollars, and our stupid government is allowing it.
Will anybody go to jail? That's the other question that we're going to get to.
The $1 million question, or the $1 billion question, Paul.
Yeah. See, this is 4 minutes. Let's see. Let's go to this one.
The Bright Beginning Center.
But what do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Sorry. No comments. Can I please?
Right here, you have Serenity Quality Care. All of these businesses are literally the same type of business, providing the same service in the same building. Another, Convenience Home Healthcare, Aid, Inc., and Child Friendly Space. All these companies get money from the government. Why would you have the same company, essentially, inside of the same building, door to door? Right here, Queenly Home Healthcare. It just does not make sense. If you were trying to operate a business, you'd want to have less competition. But here, they have all their competition right next door.
We're wondering, because we hear there's lots of fraud taking place here in Minnesota, and we're wondering, why is there so many of the same companies inside of this same building?
No, I don't know that.
What do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't have any idea about that fraud. Okay? That's it.
What do you think about the news
get
articles
so
and what's
mad.
being spread on the news about the fraud?
Right now you are doing something wrong.
I'm just asking you
No, you
about
don't
the
have
fraud.
to ask me. Okay? Don't ask me that question again.
Okay.
Okay?
Who can I speak to?
Hmm?
Who can I speak to? Okay. As soon as you confront about
Why are
the
you
fraud,
afraid of the questions?
they get angry.
When
I
these
know
people
of-
have these home healthcare companies, you're
Hey,
seeing
pause
them
it, pause.
everywhere.
Here's the correct answer. There is no fraud that exists. We are a valid company. We serve such and such
people.
clients.
Yeah.
Like this many clients here. I can't speak to this person down here, but the rent was like you answer the question. And maybe you don't want to deal with him or whatever. Maybe you can say that he's harassing people and the police show up. The police show up on this stuff. But
All of them have to go home.
But all of it, Paul, it reeks, and it reeks of the same mentality that we see on college campuses, where liberals don't want to hear about it. You can't bring your opposing view in here, Paul. You and I, as conservatives, walking onto a college campus as devils, we can't bring our opposing views in there. We can't do it. They don't want to hear it, even though that's a college campus where it's supposed to be all of these various viewpoints and ideas, and we have these great discussions and all of this stuff, right? That's where it's supposed to happen on a college campus, but you can't bring it in here. That's the same crap that we're seeing here. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. Now, I understand why that Somali doesn't want to talk about it, because he's committing fraud. He doesn't want to talk about it. But did you see that stupid lady, and it may be on our list of stuff here today, when she's like, "Don't open up."
Ice. Yeah, I have that one somewhere.
Ice is out here. Don't open up. I've been watching MS Now all day long, and I can tell you.
Let's see if I have it. I don't know if this is it. This one may be it.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong, and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday, and if you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. no one's working, midday, children should be in here, and this place is licensed for 99 children, and this is the outside. There's no windows, no nothing, and like I said, they literally spelt the word wrong on their sign. This is open and blatant fraud taking place here inside of Minnesota. The government...
So, I mean, it's literally, when we had Jacob Holloway on and he was talking about the Indian
the H-1B visas.
H-1B scam, and he was talking about how, you'd have the Indian, immigrant would get here and then they would kind of extort the family back home with like dowries to get their daughter. Like, if you want your daughter to live in the United States, you're going to have to pay me money.
This much. Yeah.
And then the whole third party aspect of it, where you had the headhunters organizations that find them the jobs, they take a cut.
Right.
That was very much he described a very detailed industrial scale process about how we get these people over to take American jobs.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the same thing. There is clearly a process. Hey, we're gonna get you into America. Then we're gonna set you up with a daycare. You're gonna apply. You're gonna get $2.9 million a year for doing absolutely nothing. Then you're going to take that money and fund whatever. I mean, who knows what it's going towards? I mean, yes, is it going back towards Democratic campaigns or NGO type? Yes, of course, it probably is, and a lot of other sick stuff. But it's also basically the main function is it basically solidifies a non-American family and sets them up really generationally for wealth and to be here forever. And that's the point of all of this.
Because what are we seeing, Paul, with ICE when they're rounding individuals up and they're like, oh, this guy's a business owner, and he's this and he's that and he's this and he's like
a Maryland man.
Yeah, he's a Maryland dad. That's what it was. And what it does is it tries to put them in this box, the same box of tax-paying Americans with families who are following the rules. Like you're trying to put them in the box. You're like, well, this guy he owns a business. He owns a daycare center, Paul.
He's doing it for the children.
He owns the Quality Leering Center, okay? Where those children are in a brick building with no windows, okay? The Leering Center. This is where this man is making an impact, a positive impact on America. We can't deport him. He's not worthy of this. Is not a criminal. Well, tell me what the hell a criminal is. If you've stolen $2 million in 1 year, I'm pretty sure that's a felony. Okay? I don't care who you are and where you're from, that's a felony.
Yeah, we've got these ideas about like where, to your point, trying to put them in that box of an American. They're also trying to put them in the Western European migration of it's just a it's just a nice Italian family coming to make their way in the olive oil business, or or Irish immigrants.
Ellis Island.
Clearly, that's not
No.
the case.
No.
Like that's not true. That's a lie. This is completely different, and it's mainly completely different because they're from the third world. I mean, we were talking about the average IQ of some of these people coming over here, and you can't avoid that. You can't. That's the elephant in the room as well, and yet. The average IQ may be what it is, but they're smart enough to fill out an application for a daycare that doesn't exist.
Well, I think I agree with you. I think that I think it would be. I think there's a larger organization. Like I think, I equate it to The Godfather. There's a larger criminal organization here that exists that trickles down, and it says you're going to set up this daycare center, and you are going to set up this daycare center. And so that dude that answered the door is like, I don't have no questions here. You don't ask me no more questions. Like that dude is not receiving $2 million. Okay,
right,
1.9 million.
Correct.
Right. So he's receiving a portion of that to be the front face of all of this stuff. There is a larger organization here, a criminal family. Now, I hope that they find them. I don't know that they will. I don't have the black pill in me doesn't have a lot of confidence that that's going to happen. But I can tell you that it's not going to be hard to find if an independent YouTuber knocked on a few doors and made some people uncomfortable, okay, about some stuff. Like Cash Patel, you tell me how in the world someone can justify 18 child care centers in the same building. Or whatever it was. I don't know that there was that many in one building, but there were child care centers, home health, all of that stuff. Like
yeah, there was one with a bunch of healthcare companies. They were trying to get rates. Can I get rates? No, you can't get rates.
You can't get rates. Paul, I just moved 2 buildings down here, so our studio is in here, and we just moved our real estate office.
We are heavily armed, by the way.
Yes, we are heavily armed. We just moved our real estate office a couple of buildings down. We've been looking for new facilities for a while. There are multiple plazas because there's a ton of real estate companies in our area. We could not rent any place where there was already a real estate company in that plaza. In that building, if it had multiple suites, we couldn't rent. We couldn't rent, and not that we wanted to. But we immediately were told, hey, I've already got a real estate company here. I can't rent to you. I'm sorry, man. We just can't do that kind of thing.
So it's like a part of the agreement. Like, we just don't want people to be confused. We don't want the competition.
Yeah. We bought a building several years ago that was an old dentist office, and we turned it into sort of a satellite office of one of our real estate companies, real estate sort of branches, I guess is what you want to call it. And when we bought it, rather than leasing it or renting it, there was a restriction on that deed. The restriction was that it couldn't be another dentist office. And the reason is because the owner of that building that sold it to us was a dentist that just moved to a newer, bigger, better building. Okay? He didn't want his competition in his old building.
Right.
We're not even under the same roof. He didn't want his competition under his old roof. So you want to sit here and tell me that 15 businesses, 18 businesses that are all similar can live under the same building, and oh, by the way,
it's all fake.
It's all Somalians who own them?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's all fake. So we have this from Cash Patel, because you mentioned him. I figured we'd get to him. He says, case update on Minnesota fraud scheme. The FBI is aware of recent social media reports in Minnesota. However, even before the public conversation escalated online, the FBI had surged personnel and investigative resources to Minnesota to dismantle large-scale fraud schemes exploiting federal programs. Fraud that steals from taxpayers and robs vulnerable children will remain a top priority in the FBI. Now, I'm sorry. I have to critique the beginning of this statement because there just seems a lot of, I don't know. I mean, everybody's outraged by the video. Everybody can't believe it. And everybody is asking, where are the arrests? Where's the FBI? Get the FBI on this. And I know the FBI is supposedly on it. And I'm not saying that, unfortunately, we have to once again wait and see. But it just seems like, Cash's tweet here is, however, even before the public, it's almost just like, hey, don't be outraged by this. We're already on it. We've already done it.
We've already done some stuff.
When we need people in handcuffs, and so I don't know.
Well,
maybe I'm just being a little too sensitive about that, but I'm just like, why can't they read the room?
Two things here. Number one, the fraud is outrageous to anybody that pays taxpayers here, and so we're very frustrated that some random YouTuber, was able to just uncover this fraud when the people that we pay to uncover this fraud didn't. Now, that's
you're exactly right. That is the dichotomy there.
And the frustration also is that I expect, short of a murder, that if a video is released over the weekend, we're not going to see an arrest on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give you that much cash. But I can tell you this, hearkening back to indictments and convictions, that started, the investigation started in 2019 or 2021. I can't remember. I've read some varying reports here. But you're hearkening back to indictments and convictions that were years old before you were even in the FBI and before the leader. No, that's not it. That's not where it's at. You can reference that. You can say, this just adds to the ongoing convictions that we've already had, da-da-da-da-da. But this new evidence here uncovered by Nick Shirley is alarming, and the FBI is on it. Boom. Everybody would have said, boom, let's go, let's go. Yeah, we're there.
It's just this constant defense of the organization of the FBI. And it's like,
we've already done so much.
If you want us to have confidence in this organization, it's all up to you, man. It's not, but PR, PR statements on X are not what people are looking for. Now, I did like this last part. The FBI believes this is just the tip of a very large iceberg. We will continue to follow the money and protect children, and this investigation remains very much ongoing. Furthermore, many are also being referred to immigration officials for possible further denaturalization and deportation.
Yeah.
That gets me back to this. Like, if we've got the executive branch right now that can deport, and if this doesn't result in the complete, demographic reversal of Minneapolis and Minnesota in general, I don't know what will.
But I don't think I don't know. I struggle with that. Let me look at two things here, Paul. Scroll back up. So this case led to 78 indictments and 57 convictions. Had you heard about that?
I had not.
I had not either. Okay. So to that point, scroll back up to the beginning here. Case update, the FBI is aware, da-da-da-da. However, even before the public conversation escalated on the line, the FBI had surged personnel and investigative resources to Minnesota to dismantle large-scale fraud schemes exploiting federal programs. What that sounds like to me, as a person who's very frustrated with the lack of perp walks, is the exact same as per my previous email. This is what this...
It's passive-aggressive.
It's when it's in his third damn sentence here. As he might as well have said, as per my previous email, because that's how it reads to me, Cash.
I know.
Okay? I am a strong conservative who stood up and gave a standing ovation when he nominated Kash Patel. Boom, here we go, a firecracker. So listen to me. Okay? I'm a nobody, but listen to me. I'm telling you, this ain't it. This harkens back to a Karen saying, as per my previous email. That's what it sounds like.
That's
to
a
me.
really good analogy.
Thank you. I just came up with it on the spot.
That's a really good
I usually
analogy.
come up with my best ideas while you're talking. I'm listening, and I'm like, oh, that makes me think of this.
Well, that's why it's a conversation.
There we go.
Here's Tim Waltz from October 20th of 2023.
Oh.
Minnesota's economy doesn't work without child care providers, so we're giving them a raise.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, those Somalians there and that with all 18 of those businesses were screaming, yes, thank you, Tim.
I
don't know why that sounds like Indian, but
I don't
know what a Somalian
all of this
sounds
money
like.
comes from the bank. It comes from the federal government or it comes from the state of Minnesota. All of this can be tracked. Every bit of this can be tracked down. There's literally no reason why this shouldn't be. Then it comes down to resources. Well, how many resources? Our government is so corrupt on so many levels. It is, and it's like, well, it's so corrupt. How can you actually police it? Now, I'm not saying you can't, and we're perfectly reasonable to have expectations that we should and we can, and we should. But my goodness, man, is Tim Waltz going to go to jail over this?
There are only two things that are true. One of the two things are true here. And maybe there's a combination of both, but there's one of two things that are true. Either one, Governor Tim Walz was asleep at the wheel. He was either asleep at the wheel, number one, or number two, he's complicit in this fraud and as guilty as they are. Mm-hmm. Okay? Those are the only two options. In both of those scenarios, in my opinion, that's resignation. In the second scenario, that's arrest.
In the meantime, Nick Shirley, he says, is a white supremacist.
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
So it sounds to me.
So Nick Shirley no longer hiding the idea of white supremacy by going and filming a video and asking questions, exposing fraudulent daycare centers, health centers or whatever, and he's a white supremacist because he's in a black neighborhood.
How is he a white supremacist by walking to a daycare and asking if he can get their daycare rates? Mm-hmm. We don't have those here. You go. You don't ask questions. You go on. You go.
And it shows you what they think. They think that statement gives them the moral high ground. They think the Democrats in general think that it really exposes what their mission is. Their mission is to increase minorities in America and decrease the population of whites.
It's a great replacement theory.
Yeah, I mean that is literally what their motivation is. There are too many white people in America. There need to be less white people compared to minorities, and white people need to be a minority. Yeah. That's obviously the truth in this situation.
So we are blamed for all the world's problems. Okay, as the color of your skin and mine, we are blamed for all the world's problems. What percentage of the world's population are we?
Very small.
It's like 8%.
Yeah.
We're like single digit.
I know. It's
wow, man. I mean, are we? You know what? It's almost like the whole meme of thanks Obama. Thanks, Obama. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Obama. He had a good retort to that. He's like, pretty soon I'm going to be blamed for, the Holocaust and, all this stuff, right? Like Obama had a pretty good retort to that because everybody was like, oh, thanks, Obama. Thanks, Obama. When it really wasn't all. I mean, it was a lot that was his fault, but it wasn't all his fault. But right now, that's the phase that we're in, And even that moron, he's a I think he's in the House. I can't recall his name. I should have sent it to you, and we could pull it up on the show. But essentially, he's like, in response to J.D. Vance's, no longer do you have to apologize for being white.
Yes.
Right? So this idiot's like, I've been a white man for 60 years, and I've never had to apologize for being white. And then, of course, they found a tweet from 2 years ago.
I think we covered that on the show, or maybe me and Eric covered it. I don't know if we were on that one.
Yeah, it was like they found it from two years prior, and it just said, Trump has filled his cabinet with all these white people, and all that stuff. And you're just like, okay, do you even listen to the BS that comes out of your mouth? Do you even listen to the double talk that you have? If it is wrong for a Democrat, it's also wrong for a conservative. And that's what conservatives believe. But if it's wrong for a conservative, it's not wrong if a Democrat does it. There have been massive studies that look at what the formation has been for the Democratic Party and their platform in respect to Trump. When Trump entered the scene in 2015, the Democratic platform is whatever Trump is for, I am against. That's where we've always been. But Paul, you have your opinions on things. I have opinions on things. We're both conservatives. I am a little bit more to the center than you are on some things. But it's not formed by whatever the Democrats are for, I'm against.
Yes, exactly. It's why the Republican Party apparatus or whatever is a coalition party where, people are picking the lesser of two evils, and they rank their issues in some level of importance. And
which is why we have disagreements. We've had plenty of disagreements. Yeah. We're seeing that constantly. I mean, I was arguing with somebody, and I was arguing with several people in our TikTok mentions. About the trans ideology, and they were reacting to a video that we did about the trans nativity scene. You remember we talked about that like several weeks ago. This has been 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was in Arkansas. They had that plan down in Little Rock.
Right. And so all of these people are like, this woman who had doctor in her name. I love it. I love it how they put doctor such and such. That's their profile. But she said something similar to the like, it's pretty obvious that that MAGA caters to the unintelligent, and here's proof. And I'm like, you're conflating education with intelligence, number one. Number two, it doesn't take an intelligent or educated person to realize that a grown man dressed in lingerie, women's lingerie, dancing in front of 6-year-old children, it doesn't take an intelligent or educated person to realize that that's wrong. It just takes human decency. Yep. And you've lost it in the name of ideology.
Yeah, it is wrong. And you can go a step further. It doesn't take a very smart person, a genius, to realize that the guy doing that up on stage in front of the 6-year-old is getting satisfaction from doing that. Yeah. Because there's no reason why you would want to do that unless you're sexually perverted.
We've seen the videos, Paul, where people are giving their kids dollar bills to go up there and put them in their thong.
Yeah.
I don't even have to get fired up about that. Like, I don't have to get fired up. It makes me fired up because I'm like, you are committing child abuse. You're committing child abuse by allowing this sort of exposure to your children. And I'm not trying to take the Somalian things and conflate it with trans ideology, but I'm talking about the liberal mindset. Because what we've seen here, have you searched on CNN.com for Nick Shirley?
Not yet, but I did know that. I
MSN Now.
I know where you're going with
Nick
this.
Shirley. Let me just tell you, folks, there are 0 articles unless they've written them in the last 2 hours.
No, we've got Fox News. Hang on a second. So Fox has covered it. USA Today has covered it. The Hindustan Times, Times of India, Yahoo. But yeah, there's not one legacy media outlet that's done it yet.
Well, there's not going to be an ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, MS Now. There's not going to be an article on this because there's no way to spin this so that Democrats look good. Mm-hmm. You went to the polls and voted just a year ago. You went to the polls and voted for someone whose name on that ticket allowed this fraud. You don't have a leg to stand on, so you can't do an article about it.
Yep. And where did the money go afterwards? Like, where is all the money going? To the individual daycare centers or whatever, the frauds. Where does it go after that? And then where does it go after that?
It goes into Somalian Mercedes. These people are come over here with nothing, and they're driving Mercedes. I don't drive a Mercedes. Paul, do you drive a Mercedes?
I do not.
I don't even know how much a Mercedes costs, but it's one of those. When you talk about a BMW or a Mercedes, it makes you think of luxury. Whatever the luxury vehicle is, these people are driving them around, and they're doing it on the government's dime. They're doing it on mine and your dime.
They hate us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
no, they love our money.
I think the Somalians definitely do because they're literally coming here to set up enclaves and conquer. But the politicians that have voted for this, and do you remember? Maybe I should pull this up. This is getting a little conspiratorial, but do you remember the Minnesota state representative that was murdered?
Yeah.
You remember what she did right before she was murdered? She voted against. She's the only Democrat to vote against health care for illegals.
Correct. Taxpayer-funded health care for illegals. She voted against it, and she's dead.
And if you go back,
but we're to believe that a MAGA enthusiast killed her.
I've got to find this real quick while I have this up because I'm pretty sure I didn't want to go there because it was it's conspiratorial.
Well, sure,
but to actually just listen to this woman. Here she is, right here. This was right after the vote, and people are.
She doesn't know it, but she only has hours to live.
Yeah, and this was right after the vote in Minnesota.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision. I know that people will be...
All right, so she's very upset. Anyway, so somebody just points out that, again, with all the fraud being exposed in Waltz's Minnesota, the only Dem to vote to stop health care for illegals in Minnesota, one of 67, Melissa Hortman was her name, the deciding vote, then killed, almost like she knew it was coming. Hell of a coincidence. I don't think
she knew she would be killed for that vote.
Yeah, that's a stretch. But anyway, people are looking into Minnesota.
But it's naive. Yeah, it's naive for us to sit here, Paul, and say that had nothing to do with her death. You're like, oh well, let's just skip past that because the guy's roommate said that he was MAGA. Mm-hmm. Guy's roommate said,
"Yeah, and you go watch that guy. He's not credible at all.
No, dude, he looks like the guy that stole your hubcaps yesterday.
Yeah, the whole thing was some sort of false flag gone wrong. I'm convinced to this day to try to blame on MAGA. Really, nothing. Nothing really came of it. I think it all went wrong. And that's what they're desperate for. And again, that's why the mainstream media, to your point earlier, they're not covering this because there's no way to spin this. But it also would justify further deportations, further just make ICE descend on that and just start denaturalizing, deporting, arresting, do it all. And that brings me to, I guess that brings me to this post here. Because this was pretty funny. This one was making the rounds. Members of Congress or the DOJ.
It should say Republican members of Congress.
Republican members of Congress pretending to do something.
Got it.
Watch his hand here. Watch him going in. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. And here we go. Honestly,
I got the biggest kick.
That is the best depiction of Republicans right now.
Yeah.
When they're like, oh, here's what we've accomplished this year and all this stuff, and I'm like, well, you sure as hell should have, because you had all three chambers and you had the Supreme Court. Like, you pretty much had the gift wrapped to you. I would imagine that you should have accomplished more. You've been sitting here talking about election integrity for years, and you've got the ability to do something about it right now. We still haven't seen anything. They're what's his name? Gunther Eagleman, good follow on Twitter. Got a brother, I think, Hunter Eagleman. I can't remember.
Sounds right.
But anyway, a good follow on Twitter. But he's black-pilled right now. Both of them are black-pilled right now. They're very frustrated because you can solve all of this before 2026. You can fix all of this election fraud, or most of it. You can fix it by saying you must be a United States citizen to vote. You must be able to prove it. I don't even know how is that even a debate, folks? How the hell is that even a debate, Paul? If you don't have to prove who you are to cast a vote, but I got to prove how old I am, who I am to open a checking account, get a plane ticket, buy alcohol, buy cigarettes, buy a gun. If I've got to do all of these things that are important, like buying a gun, like knowing who that person is important. But voting, that's way less important than buying cigarettes. Or, I'm sorry, way more important than buying cigarettes. Is it not?
Yeah, or getting a tattoo.
There's another one there. If you don't have to prove who you are or how old you are or where you live, all of those things, if you don't have to prove that, then of course fraud is going to exist.
And all those Somalis, excuse me. How many Somalis are up there? How many?
I don't know.
I can't remember. It's like in Columbus, I thought it was like 60,000 or something, and I don't know how many. It's over 100,000 up there. Those people, and the people that support them, the Democrat politicians that support them and enable them to do all of that they've done, those people are voting.
Oh, you know that.
100% they're voting.
Ilhan Omar gets elected for a reason.
Yeah, and it's. That's why we're being invaded. I mean, it's about conquering the country.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so you believe fully within your all of your brain power here, you believe that Somalians who are not legal I'm talking about the ones who are not legal citizens here in the United States. Do you believe that they're voting in Minnesota?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. If those people are voting and they can create fictitious children, do you believe that they can create fictitious voters? Of course they can.
Yep.
And you're naive, folks.
I've got 20
Where's
kids
the
that
proof?
are all 18.
Where's the proof, Paul? Where's the proof? That's what liberals do. They get on there. Where's the evidence? You got nothing to back it up. That's what they do, Paul. They say all that crap. And I'm like, you know what? My brain tells me that you hate Trump. Everything he does works against what you've been allowed to do under Biden and even as far back as Obama. Everything that Trump does works against that. And you mean to tell me that you won't cheat? You're cheating the taxpayers out of billions of dollars. You won't cheat to keep the orange man out of office? Bull.
Yeah,
you're so full of crap. Oh my God, I got to remember our TV audience because I want to cuss.
Just a reminder, the $16 billion is the estimated GDP of Somalia, and this is now up to over $20 billion scam, and it's only going to get worse.
It's going to be hundreds of billions of dollars.
That is so infuriating to me as an American, to think that we're going to import people, as part of an immigration policy to, replace the white population or whatever, you fill in the blank, whatever you think it is.
Sure.
And then they come over here and scam us because you got to know some of this money's going back to their home country.
Oh, yeah.
They're scamming us for more than their country generates from a GDP standpoint.
Laughing all the way.
That is treasonous to us. That is treasonous to the people in Minnesota who are not Somalians. That's and all of us. It's literally organized theft of our nation, but it's not just theft of our money. It's theft of our country because these people are able to establish themselves and they're going to be here for generations if we don't do something about it.
So you get a donation. You're a state Democratic senator, whatever, in the state of Minnesota, and you receive a donation from a Somalian daycare. Okay. And then you vote to increase the funding for those daycares. How are you not a criminal?
You 100% are.
You are committing fraud and possibly even treason because what you are doing is voting against the interests and voting against what you swore an oath to the Constitution. And if you're telling me that you can funnel money back to yourself through these Somalians. Now, I'm not naive, Paul. It ain't just Somalians. We've got all of these huge special interests that are American born and American bred that are doing the exact same thing with politicians. But this is what we're talking about right now. And all of that fraud, that kind of stuff needs to end up on American Greed, that show where these people, get the perp walk and end up in prison. These Somalians shouldn't have been here in the first place, and they should sure as heck be sent back and not allowed back in.
Speaking of TV shows, this is the best meme of the internet. This week on House Hunters, she's a stay-at-home mom of 13 children. He owns 3 child care centers and 2 autism centers in Minneapolis. Their budget is $4 million.
For our listening audience, there is a Somalian woman in a hijab, whatever it's called, and then a guy that, if you've ever seen Captain, what's it called with Tom Hanks, Captain? Captain Ron. No, it's not Captain Ron. That's an old.
I can't remember, but it's like, I'm the captain now.
Yeah, the guy that pops onto the boat that says, I'm the captain now, that's definitely, like, it's his.
It looks a lot like him.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that's the meme. And
I think I had one more funny one here. Maybe that was the funny one. Oh, yeah, here's another good one. A generous donation to a Somalian daycare center has just been made in your name, and it's Clark Griswold from Christmas
with the
Vacation.
Jelly of the Month Club, So, but the generous donation to the Somalian daycare is turned out to be millions, and when you look at the holistic view of it, billions of dollars of fraud.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just incredible. I mean, you just can't. You just think about, like, to your point, the people that are listening to this show right now who, are going to work and enslaving to pay their taxes, to take care of their families. and then this kind of stuff is going on. And I mentioned USAID earlier because I mean that, and I mentioned let's just talk about Elon Musk. I was telling this to Eric Haynes last week. I don't know if you were on that show, but I think with all of the disappointment in the Trump administration started to grow when Trump and Elon had their split.
The breakup. Yeah.
I think that was kind of, and what Elon was doing with Doge, going out there and giving those media interviews and telling what he discovered.
Yeah.
That he discovered magic money machines, 12 of them in these different departments that could just put money, create it out of nowhere digitally and put it in any bank account they wanted to in the world.
Correct.
The illegals that were getting signed up for Social Security benefits and IRS refund checks.
Yeah.
And getting registered to vote. He was saying all this, and you know what that was doing? It was increasing expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, and we're referring these to the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
Expectations.
Yeah.
Expectations. This has got to go. This has got to go. And then USAID was all being defunded and exposed at the same time that this was happening, and so they got rid of that guy. They got rid of the guy. The Republicans have always needed a guy like Musk. Some people could argue that, and I think you could make a lot of arguments.
Yeah.
And Washington D.C. ran him out of town.
They couldn't handle it. They just called him the vice president. The liberal media called him the vice president, and just couldn't handle Doge. They couldn't handle the fact that their slush funds were being being eliminated. And so when you look at why Elon Musk got so frustrated with the big beautiful bill, you're like, whoa, no. I gave you all this fraud, and you're not eliminating it in this big beautiful bill. Mike Johnson, you're not eliminating this. Don't go in front of the microphone and say this and say that and say this and say that. I've given you this fraud. A 256-year-old man was still receiving Social Security. Okay? And that check was not bouncing. It's not coming back. Mm-hmm. So what we realize and what we know is that individual on the other end of that check was a real person, and it's fraud. That we're also seeing, that's just with money. How much fraud exists, and I'm not trying to go all the way back to this, but how much fraud exists with the voter rolls? We understand that 250-year-old people receiving money is going to be the people who vote. They're going to be voting to continue that kind of stuff, a 250-year-old person. It was like, this is not proven. There's no way to prove all of this stuff. And I'm like, okay, well then just ask me what the richest man on the face of the planet has to do. Like, what is his motivation to lie? Why would he lie about it? Maybe because he paid $11 billion in taxes in 1 year? Why would he sit here and lie? Well, everybody's like, oh, he's after your Social Security. Oh my
yeah, that was
gosh.
insane. Yeah.
I want to slap every person that said that.
Yeah, and the rhinos in D.C. they loved the media was trashing Musk because he was a threat to them. He was an actual threat, and that doesn't mean that I agree with Elon Musk on everything, qualifier, but whatever.
Sure.
But when Musk was coming up with ideas like, well, let's just not pay our bills and wait, and let's cancel the credit cards here.
Yeah.
And let's just wait until somebody calls us and wants the money.
Yeah, let's
and
find
if they
out.
don't call, then it's fraud.
It's fraud.
If they're not calling and saying, excuse me, you owe me this money for this service that I performed for you. If
You're
they
like,
don't do that, then we don't have to pay them.
Right.
Because they're criminals.
Because a criminal's not going to call. Now, with the very rare exception where, you'll get somebody who called the police and say they were trying to buy drugs and the person just stole their money and didn't give them the drugs. Now, those
you might get some.
So you might get one or two calls.
Out of Atlanta, you might get some people.
Oh, Paul.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we're going to get canceled in Atlanta.
You might get that out of there. Like, how come my check has stopped?
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Well, what exactly it is you do here? They get the office question.
What is it you say you do here? Yeah, so so Milton is gone, right? You fired him. No. We just fixed it where he's no longer going to receive a paycheck. That's exactly what Elon Musk was saying.
Yep, he was.
He's like, let's not call him out. Let's just fix it where they don't receive a paycheck, and let's just wait to hear. And the government had the chance to do it But as powerful as the richest man in the world is, as powerful as Donald Trump is,
the DC swamp,
the swamp was
said,
more
nope,
powerful. They
not
win.
going to do it.
Paul, me and you, I hope hope this clip doesn't go viral, because then me and you need to say, "Hey, I'm not suicidal. Paul, you're not suicidal.
We just want deep state arrests and deportations for people that are not supposed to be here, especially the violent ones."
I'm sick of stroking a check every. I'm an independent contractor, so my check, my money, my taxes is not withheld from me.
You get that 6.5% times 2.
Yeah,
or 7.5% or whatever.
So I end up paying it. Yeah, usually it equates to you start at 35% tax rate, and then you work your way down with deductions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I spent this much on gas because I'm a real estate agent. All this stuff, whatever. So you write that stuff off. But I usually end up paying about 24 to 25% taxes, which is what most people pay, in the 20s. Here's the thing. I get the money, and then I have to write the check back to the government. And I'm just telling you right now, if you have deduction, if you get a paycheck and then the money is deducted, you don't think about, I would be willing to wager, because I didn't when I received that check, that I didn't think about as much about, man, they took a good chunk of my, but you didn't think, oh, what is it going to? Well, when I get a $5,000 check, and then I've got to write 1,000 of it back, or $1,200 of it back to the government, I'm thinking about where that money's going, man. I'm thinking about it because I had the money, and then I had to give it back, and you're giving it to Somalians.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, we would say, you're born in the greatest country in the world. We're born in the greatest country. We're born in America. You know what? Those Somalis have a lot better life right now. Immigrating here.
Sure.
And doing this whole deal, their life is better than yours.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be covetous. I'm not trying to be. We shouldn't covet. I'm not saying we covet their scam. Absolutely not. But there are priorities, and our politicians are putting us last.
Yeah,
and it's okay for us to notice that.
Paul, there are people. We live in this office is close to a residential neighborhood. How many people back there in this residential neighborhood behind us pays their taxes and is in a worse financial position than these Somalians who are just stealing? They're robbing the American people, and these people are paying it all behind us here, but they can't pay their light bill.
Yeah,
they can't add money to their kids' college fund. They're like, hey, I hope my kid gets a scholarship. What are we gonna do here, right? So I'm telling you, if those people will realize this and rise up, and this Nick Shirley is a start with 120 million views or whatever it is now. I don't even know what it is now, but that is a start.
Last topic, we've got like 2 minutes. A big L for the men and women are the same crowd. The Battle of the Sexes 2025, world number 1 Irina Sabalenka versus world number 671 Nick Kyrgios, I can't ever pronounce this guy's name. I actually do follow tennis somewhat, and he's injured. Kyrgios. They even gave her a smaller court, and Kyrgios wins in straight sets. Wow. You see how the court is smaller for him and bigger for him, and it didn't go well.
Number one, you give her props for playing the game.
Oh, 100%. 100% you do. But I don't know. I had to throw that in here for today because it is insane, the advantage.
What was it?
Straight sets.
Straight sets, of course, but
let me see. Did she even win a game? Let me see. Let's see here.
She got some. Yeah, she got 6-3, 6-3, 6-3.
6-3.
Yeah.
Now they didn't play the men's style because the men, you go best of 5.
Yeah.
Instead of best of 3.
Well, that's true.
So there's a whole other endurance element to the whole thing.
So. Serena Williams said it the best when she went on Conan O'Brien.
They were so upset that she said that she would lose
6-0 to the best player in the world. Like I guess at that time maybe it was Andy Murray or something. I don't know. But you're talking about that is the best female tennis player in the world. She's making more money than most men. Mm-hmm. Okay, you can't name the top 10 male tennis stars, but you sure as heck knew who Serena Williams was.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So it was like, let it be that. Let it be that. Same thing with the WNBA. Let it be that we all know that Caitlin Clark is great. Is she the best player in the WNBA? Probably not. But we know her name. Let it be that. Why do you have to sit here and say, oh, she could beat this man, she could beat that? Even Serena Williams herself said it. And if you put Caitlin Clark in the NBA, she's not making the cut.
Yeah, so just to reinforce, no men in women's sports or, vice versa. It's ridiculous. Rob, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Glad to be here as always, Paul.
Folks, we're going to be back here tomorrow. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the things whatever platform you're watching on. And we're going to get ready to celebrate the new year, and we'll see you tomorrow.